unspoken sentence that I'm for real, I've got money, I can get the deal done.
Well, from what I can tell from my several experience on private jets was that mostly it creates an enormous amount of stress. I was once flying back from Czechoslovakia and I was offered a lift by this billionaire who had his plane to himself and was being very kind to the rest of the guests and said, I'll give you a lift back. Well, all the people who took British Airways got home in 2.5 hours, and sort of 4.5 hours later, we were still circling around Gatwick.
At least when billionaires are delayed, they're not stuck by the loos with their knees around their ears. To the high net worth traveller, flying is a world of private airports and personal service where they are the only customer.
Hello?
Katinka, hello, it's June.
Hi, June, how are you?
I'm good. Just checking that you're on your way and the traffic's okay and everything's fine.
Everything is fine. We should be there in about 15 minutes.
Fantastic. Well, I'm here, I'm ready, the plane is in position, so we're just waiting for you en route to arrive.
It's June's job to care for her customers' every creature comfort. On board today, Miss Katinka Niku and her travelling companion, Rue. The Rottweiler who was born with a silver spoon in his jaws.
Hi.
It's very, very addictive. So once you start flying private, you will never stop. Giving up that private jet, that's the hardest thing to do.
We've got the aircon on for you, so it'll be nice and cool in there.
There are clearly children who fly around on private jet the whole time. I have a friend whose daughter was once flown on a commercial airline, and she said, you know, Daddy, are these all your friends? She'd never seen 300 people in the same plane before.
This is the first day of the birthday week. First day of the birthday week.
Are we going to celebrate all week?
As a jet salesman to the super rich, New Yorker Steve Vassano lives the lifestyle of his customers.
I love my life. I have the most fantastic life. I have the best girlfriend. I have the best friends. I work in a fantastic environment.
After all, if you can't be them, join them.
Unfortunately, I have to fly back to London to go to the office today.
Ever the businessman, for Steve, it's always work before play. He's off to make money.
Did you hit 40 million or is it just oil?
Steve is one of a handful of go-to guys if you're a billionaire looking for a jet. Because he wants his ultra-high net worth customers to come to him, he's opened a retail environment they just can't resist, complete with a jet trading desk.
Yes, how you been?
Good and you?
See you.
But the real kicker is his billionaire-friendly mega app, the multi-millionometer.
What do you think the budget is that you'd like to stay around?
Call it 10 to 15.
Super successful people, super wealthy people, super powerful people. There's one thing they love to do is talk about what they do and who they are. And, if you ask them the right leading questions, they just pour it out.
Can you run quickly a comparison on the operating cost?
Yep, they're incredibly close. Operating costs, and you get an airplane that is 20% bigger in cabin. So it still costs you the same amount.
Acquisition price, what's the difference between both?
Well, that's significantly more. They will spend $10 million on buying an asset, but they will decide to fly economy instead of business class on a airline jet because they could save $300. Because there's a big difference between enjoying your money and wasting your money. And when somebody feels good about spending their money, there is no limit to.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Steve started out selling to the original jet set.
I was really fortunate to sell a jet to Frank Sinatra. It was an unbelievable opportunity. And when you talk to somebody like that, it gives a feeling of really accomplishing and you're really proud of what you're doing. So let's look at the comparison of the two airplanes from a schematic standpoint.
Steve's client has a relatively modest $13 million to spend on a second-hand 8-seater jet. Born salesman Steve knows the power of one-upmanship and heads next door to show exactly what a $300 million jet looks like.
So come on in here, and you can experience actually a little bit bigger than the plane you're looking for, but it actually puts you into the space, so it's a little bit more.
You need to do still a lot of work before I can afford that, so Steve.
Keep doing it, that's okay. I have a lot more than you got. So come on in here. Have a seat.
Thank you. One fantastic cabin.
This is an exact replica of a Airbus 319 corporate jet. This airplane probably New is about $85, $90 million. A little bit more than what you're looking for, but it could be your second step. Third step.
I hope you're right.
Me too. So,
by the time you have 600 people on your payroll who travel with you because you can't go anywhere without 2 personal chefs and 6 PAs and your financial manager and your tax consultant. So then you need a Boeing, you need an Airbus. And the big thing now is you have your own Airbus with a bedroom, with showers, with a gymnasium, and probably there's probably a golf course in it now.
Let's go check into the dining room of the Airbus or the conference room. And it actually extends even further to the bedroom of the airplane.
No more, Steve, no more.
Yeah, you don't want to upgrade yet?
Billionaires may claim their jets are just time-saving business tools, but being billionaires, they can't resist a little competition. In 2008, American billionaire Steve Wynn took private jet ownership to a new level when he decked out a Boeing 737.
One is talking more about new money than old money, and culture where visible wealth is important.
Speaking of which, 1 year later, Wynn was trumped by Donald, who took to the skies in his own Boeing 757.
You'll notice the seat belts, as well as everything else, are 24-karat gold-plated.
Then roaming Roman Abramovich claimed the laurel, proud owner of his very own Boeing 767. But in 2007, there was a new sultan of bling, Prince Al-Walid bin Talal Al Saud. His Airbus A380 is estimated to have cost over $500 million once his taste had been accounted for. But soon, of course, there will be one still better.
I think if someone developed a supersonic aircraft, I know a lot of people that'd be interested in buying one.
If super yachts are about billionaires playing host to privileged guests, then the private jet is the perfect place for the billionaire to entertain himself.
You can do whatever you want on a corporate jet because nobody's there to watch you.
Well, if you own the airplane, it's your orgy. You do what you like in the back. You smoke cigars, smoke cigarettes, get drunk, smash the place up. You can't really throw the TV out of the window like a rock star unless you're on the ground.
The jets are furnished often at a cost of millions to meet the owner's personal needs.
And we've seen in the sort of larger 747s and 777s, you see owners where they put in cinemas, jacuzzis, bedrooms, dining rooms. They've kitted it out in the interior design of their choice. So basically, the world's your oyster.
Some people, will just temporarily put a beach, a sand with folding chairs in the back of a plane. Some people from the Middle East will have a chair that's always on a magnetic compass that points to Mecca.
But pilots must beware indulging the owner's every whim. The consequences can be fatal.
And there is a story, true, of a boss of a big company who told his pilots he could not be late for dinner, and they had to land. And they missed the runway, crashed, and everyone was killed.
It's not all fun and games being a billionaire. On the plus side, you've got access to the most fabulous toys that money can buy. Not quite so wonderful is the constant reminder that there's always someone else out there with an even bigger and brasher plaything. For the super rich, there's a silly season for showing off. August. And while the Russian and American billionaires battle it out on the Med, another tribe of super rich migrate to Knightsbridge in central London.
Within a 2-mile stretch, you could probably see 50 supercars. They've all got Arabic plates from Dubai, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of princes, royal family, a lot of millionaires, a lot of billionaires, and it's just a great sight to see.
It's fair to say that not everyone is thrilled the area's become supercar central.
You need to move out the bloody way. You need to go that way so that the traffic can flow out.
We're completely overtaken by these incredibly expensive, vulgar, outrageously noisy cars, and it's just too much. And I know so many of the locals who are they're leaving town because they can't cope with it. It's just horrific.